morning, guys. Welcome back to Pharaoh Iron and Customs. I'm Michael, and today I'm going to be making the front body mount outriggers. I'm gonna look it up and see what the technical name for these are. I can't remember how much they are. But I'm going to make mine. I'm going to go ahead and this part of it right here is made into the body. This one is for the left side, and that part is so that the clutch pedal can clear. Well, I'm not going to use the clutch like it came from the factory. I'm going to do something different. So I'm not even going to bother to make that piece to go in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this in 3 pieces. I'm going to make a template of what the side profile is. There's not enough left of this side to tell. There's a window here to get to the bolt hole from underneath the car. There's not a window for this one. Other than that, I don't know that it needs that. Other than just making it easy to put the bolt in. And I'll show you a trick that I've learned over the years when we get to putting the bolt in about something that I've done over the years to help me put bolts in places that are hard to get to. So I may not even put that window in, and I'm going to go ahead and on the inside reinforce it. I don't know if you can see it, but these have you know, where the bolt was tightened down against the rubber, it's deformed it. So I'm probably going to put a piece of like 3/16 plate on the inside just to give it a little more of something to so it doesn't deform like this is deformed. So anyway, I'm gonna get on it. I'm gonna make these, and I'm gonna try to do a better job of you know, showing you all the steps. So let me get the pattern cut out to make this, and we'll need 4 of them. The only thing will be the bend will be different. I'm using 16 gauge. That's what these are made out of. You could use 14 gauge, but I feel like it would just be overkill. And I'm not able to buy 14 gauge in a small piece. I'd have to buy a whole sheet, and I can't see where I need a whole sheet of 14 gauge hanging around the house. So anyway, let me get into this and be right back. Alright guys, I got to a point where I got a shape like I wanted it, and I come to realize something about this, and I'll show it to you in just a minute. I went ahead and pulled out the body mount kit, and I really, you know, I have reservations about pulling this out because I know how I am about keeping up with bits and pieces of this and that. So I'm going to try to keep this in the box and maybe get a piece of tape. This comes from Shoebox Central. It's a Dennis Carpenter kit. So if you needed to know that. Alright, so the 2 positions we're working with here, and it looks like that they should be parallel, but when I go to the car and try to put the mount in, hang on a minute. Okay, so when I go to the car and try to line up the old one, you can see when you line up the bolt hole there and line up the bolt hole, and there's not a hole there because I broke it off. It doesn't really line up and there, but it's at a diagonal still. So I'm going to go get under the other side and see if that's actually correct. Now I wanted to get these pads out, and you'll see where I'm talking about the clutch mount. There's the clutch pedal. So before I get this mounted in, I'm going to have to pull the clutch off. Go ahead and pull that clutch and brake assembly off. I'm not using any of that. So that's how those pads would go down in there. This is how the factory would sit, and it looks like the floor is 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch lower right there. So the floor would have to pull down to meet. And granted, it could have moved that much, but I don't think it did. And it seems like it would be coming up here. So, and remember, I don't know if you saw the videos when I took this apart, this part was pushed through the floor. Well, something I crawled under the car and noticed, see if y'all can see that, is that at some point this has been tweaked. But with it being tweaked like that, this should be too high. It may be pushed forward. It looks like it got tweaked backwards though. Gotta love damage. Gotta love restoring rusty stuff and then having damage. So I think what needs to happen is this part needs to come up, and this, you know, of course the frame is not going to change. So I did take and get the little mini sledge and knock this down, because even with the pads in there, it was going to hit right there. So anyway, let me get under the other side, see what it looks like, and hopefully we'll get into making these mounts. Alright guys, real quick, I worked on this longer than I intended to. I've got this where it looks a whole lot better. It was pointing up really bad. Now it's about 5 degrees. The other side I measured is about 3. If I try to bring the whole body of the car, would need to come up for it to get to 3 degrees. So we're going to stick with that. Like I said, it needs, the floor pan needs to stay down below this lip, so that's where we're going to go. What I ended up having to do was take the front body mounts out, which is what's basically holding the front of the car up, and went ahead and put the new body mounts in. Interestingly enough, somebody screwed up the threads on this side, and they put a bolt all the way through the chassis. So I'm gonna have to figure out what to do about that when I'm working on the chassis. But let's get these mounts made. Like I said, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, I don't remember, but this actually is at a slight angle. So I may just make the one today and make the other one to fit the other side. So I'm gonna get this cut out and come back. Hey guys, something interesting I wanted to show you. I measured the width here, and it's not really consistent, but it's just you know, a little more than 1/2 inch, so probably close to 5/8. As a matter of fact, that looks like right at 5/8 of an inch. Something you can do, see if I can do this and hold the camera too, and we're gonna mark the edge where we want to make the brake. So you take a pair of calipers, and this is just a set that I bought from somewhere that's not very expensive. I mean, it's not my best set of calipers, and you can run right along the edge, and that'll create a line. I mean, if your line is already, you know, if you're working off of a straight edge like this. Now what I'm going to do is bring my template right up to that line, mark it out, and then cut it out. And then where this line is where we're going to break it. So let me get this cut out. I'm going to get all the pieces cut out, and I'm coming back. Alright guys, this is where I'm at so far. I cut everything out, and the central machinery brake will only do 18 gauge, and it won't do it all, a 3-foot section of it really well. So what I ended up doing was taking and cutting slits in it, breaking it. I'll come back and weld it from this side, and I'm going to use the 220 welder that'll put enough heat in it that you can see where it's blowing through right there and getting good penetration. So what I'm doing is kind of test fitting this, and I'm only going to build this one today. I was going to build both of them, but I want to make sure the other side is tweaked to fit like it's supposed to. Now, what I run into, I broke, this is an angle. I broke it this angle so it would fit against the bottom. And what I found I was able to do with that break is once I cut this end, I could go in the break and hang it off just off of the end right there. And there was enough room to put the other brake in there. It's kind of like a pan brake, but I mean, that's the limitations. It won't do anything better than that. So I'm gonna get this welded up and then chopped off. And before I do that, I think I'm gonna do a video that I'll post about removing the master cylinder in case anybody's curious about how to do that. And that may be a Wednesday video or something like that. So anyway, let me get this welded up and I'll come back. Alright guys, there it is, all made up. I crawled under the other side and it's got this tab that the fender actually bolts to. That's where the bottom of the fender attaches to. So I made that tab. I'm going to grind these welds down just a little bit and I'm going to paint it up tonight. I've got it pretty good where I want it. It could be better, but we're not going to worry about it too much. Like I said, I'm going to paint it up tonight or this afternoon and let it dry. I'm not going to worry too much about where the weld bled through. It's under the car. Nobody will ever see it. And once I put that hammered paint on it, or even go back and put some undercoating under that, won't nobody ever see that. So I'm not gonna spend time where we don't need to spend time. And as you can see, it got really good penetration. I had it turned up pretty high on the welder. I got to get in and clean that. I want to make get a thick washer to go in here to keep it from collapsing. But what I need is, this is really close to the shape. A matter of fact, they're almost the same height. I'd say within just a 1/8 of an inch or so. So what I need to do is, to get it to sit in the car right, is I'm gonna have to space it up about 1/4 inch or maybe 3/8 to get that to where the floor, where it meets the existing part of the floor that's left, and that's going to put it at about a 3° or so angle towards the car. I mean, I know you need a little bit of angle so that if something spills, it'll run towards the outside. So I'm gonna get that done. Like I said, if you're going to run the stock clutch in your car, you need to make that bump. It's got to be there. So the clutch, that cutout is for the clutch. I'm not using this clutch quadrant in the car. I'm changing the clutch and the brake. I'm putting that under the hood, and like I said, that'll be in a later video. Anyway, that's it for today. I may get out here and work some more. I'm trying to bring you content while I'm working on the other side of the car. I want to get the other side of the car up to speed. I'm probably going to do 1, maybe 2 videos. There's a couple of things that I want to go over. I want to try to do a better job of showing you how I made that lower part for that fender, because I kind of glossed through that. And that's it. Like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below. I'll see y'all on Wednesday.